Thank you for joining us on This is Exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. Through the day here on Republic TV, our endeavor is to get you explosive, impactful, breaking stories. Stories that hit the headline and make the difference. So, one such story caught our eye, and that story was on a report that has now been submitted in America on Boeing. And it flags the tech glitch on Boeing 787, and especially the flight AI-171 which crashed in Ahmedabad. Ironically, as India probes the pilots, the real story could be something else. The airline, Air India and Boeing, have somehow been left off this investigation. Our focus is on that. We have some big inputs coming up. Why is India batting for Boeing is our focus. Here are the headlines, 7 p.m. this evening. The big headline from Jammu and Kashmir this evening: at least 10 Jawans have been killed following an accident in Noida, Jammu and Kashmir.
अपने आप को सेफ रखते हुए क्या कोशिश तो कर
झाड़ियों में फंस रहा ना आदमी, पैर ही नहीं चल रहा है।
क्या कह रहा है क्या बेटा? ज्यादा ये बहुत गहरा पानी, पैर भी ना आ रहे और इससे ये पीछे फ्लो कर रहा है मुझे। अच्छा, आगे नहीं जा रहा।
Is the last video of Techie Yuvraj, the Noida Techie, his last video accessed by Republic firefighters, seen at the spot along with the SDRF teams. There was no clear attempt made to go to him, go close to him for hours. That's what the video proves.
क्या कोशिश तो कर
झाड़ियों में फंस रहा ना आदमी, पैर ही नहीं चल रहा है। बहुत अच्छे दोस्त,
अपने आप को सेफ रखते हुए
Big cover-up, negligence proven beyond doubt. But more and more builders are being arrested. Those who are responsible for letting this incident happen not even in the picture. A controversial bureaucrat who in 2022 threw out athletes from a stadium every evening so that he could take his dog for a walk. That's a Great Dane, I think. A dog for a walk in the Tyagaraja Stadium. He was shunted out, sent to Ladakh. He's now been brought back and made the boss of MCD in Delhi. US Aviation Safety Group claims Air India Boeing 787 that crashed had suffered repeated tech electrical failures. This has been reported in America, but in India we continue to go after the pilots for some reason. A chilling video emerges of a Manipur youth begging for his life and then shot in cold blood. There is protests being reported in different parts of Manipur this evening as different groups rise in anger. And the irony of ironies, the mother of all ironies, Pakistan, terror nation, signed up by Donald Trump on the board of peace. They cough up $1 billion borrowed to join that board. For the last few days, ladies and gentlemen, we here at Republic TV have specifically asked a few questions on whether there was an attempt in India to go after the pilots. The pilot who was the captain of the AI-171 flight that went down in Ahmedabad, the plane that crashed in Ahmedabad. Is there an attempt to go after the pilot? Are Indian investigators going after the pilot? Why is nobody taking Air India and Boeing into question? Why aren't they being questioned? These are some of the questions we've been asking. The family also complained about how their relatives are being harassed. And there is a big question mark about this entire investigation. There is a key report that has been filed, and that report talks about how the plane experienced system failures from its very first day in service for Air India. And the failures included electronics and software faults, circuit breakers tripping repeatedly, damage to wiring, short circuit, loss of electrical current, overheating of power components. In January 2022, there was a fire in the P100 power distribution panel. Pilots started receiving fault messages during a descent into Frankfurt Airport. Damage discovered afterwards, and it was so severe that the entire panel had to be replaced. Now, all of this, ladies and gentlemen, have been reported. And if they were reported, why is it that India has not probed that angle, or India appears to be going soft on Boeing, on Air India? We spoke to the father of Captain Sabharwal. In fact, he sent us a video, an audio message. And here is what he said, talking about the condition of his family, the plight of his family, as they are being harassed, he says, by the government and the investigators.
Sabharwal, father of late Captain Sumit Sabharwal, express my sincere gratitude to Captain Randhawa and the Federation of Indian Pilots for standing with our family with dignity and professionalism in our pursuit of truth and fairness. While we continue to grieve, we have faced repeated distress in the name of inquiry. I am constrained to state that AIB for persistently attempted to call the youngest pilots of our family for questioning, despite their having no connection whatsoever with the case. This has caused unnecessary trauma and most to harassment of a bereaved family. I appeal to the Government of India to take urgent cognizance of this. An accident investigation must be independent, evidence-led, and are conducted with sensitivity, not through pressure or intimidation. It is for these reasons that we were compelled to approach the Honorable Supreme Court for protection and due process. My son, Captain Sumit Sabharwal, was a thorough professional and a man of integrity. He had a spotless flying career during his service for more than 25 years. And then any attempt to prejudge.
Mike Andrews joins me live. Mike Andrews, the attorney for the victims' families. Mike, it appears from the different reports that we are seeing, and there have been a few incidents involving Boeing in the recent past, even in America. But America holds Boeing to account. Boeing pays penalties. Boeing has to face the law. In this particular case, and I'm bringing your attention to this particular case, and because you represent the victims' families here, do you sense an attempt to go after the family of the pilots and somehow leave Boeing out of this investigation? Is that the sense you're getting from the report filed?
Yeah, and thank you. So this is a tactic that we see all too often, that immediately following an aviation disaster, the blame is placed upon the flight crew, the pilots, who are no longer around to defend themselves. And that has always been a rush to judgment. It's something that we've said from the beginning is improper in this case. And these families deserve the patience and transparency of all of the information to understand exactly what happened here.
Yeah. In the case of the AI-171 plane, there is a report that has been given to the Senate. You may be aware of this report. it has flagged multiple tech glitches on the exact same flight, which has been a larger issue with the Boeing 787 family. Is that also part of your case against, perhaps Boeing and Air India?
Yes, we are closely following those developments. We see this report and the recent testimony to the Senate committee as being a significant development in this investigation.
Yeah.
We have said from the beginning that this is a very complex electrically driven aircraft, and many of the systems are interdependent upon each other. As a result, you can have a problem in one system that can cascade and create other problems. Now, significantly, when we look at the information of the report that you're talking about, and this is from the Foundation for Aviation Safety from Mr. Ed Pearson, we see reports of problems from almost the very beginning of this aircraft's life cycle. In fact, he states from the very first day. And he cites problems with software glitches and circuit breakers continuing to throw, issues with electrical wiring and communication among some of the systems, and significantly a fire on board that required the replacement of a major power panel and some of the breakers and wiring. You know, we've said from the beginning that this plane has the capability to control the throttle and engine settings in such a way that it could make it appear as if the pilots did something when in fact they did not. And that's why it's improper, this rush to judgment and attempt to blame the pilots for something that this information is now just coming to light. It's disturbing to me that Air India would know of and have information regarding this history and yet still try to blame the pilot in the face of all of this knowledge. And so we continue to push for transparency, for honesty and truth. We want to know exactly the history of this plane, what happened with it when it was developed and when it was sent to India, and the problems that it's had in its life cycle. We think these are indicative of design, engineering, maintenance, and quality problems. And so we all need to know exactly what happened here.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Mike, because we also get a sense that perhaps there is much more than meets the eye, given the manner in which not just the pilot's family, his relative, who's also a pilot, unrelated to this entire issue, is being called to the investigation. I'll leave it at that. Look forward to speaking to you at some point in time as the case progresses. From one legal battle to the next, the 30,000 crore inheritance battle in the Sanjay Kapoor family has taken a dramatic turn with 80-year-old Rani Kapoor, the mother of the late Sanjay Kapoor, the industrialist, moving the Delhi High Court seeking to scrap the Rani Kapoor family trust, alleging it was fraudulently created through forgery manipulation by her late son and his third wife, Priya Sachdev. Now, in this matter, Republic asked 13 questions to Priya last night. She didn't answer a single one of them. In fact, she just walked past. I'll play that out in just a bit. We also spoke to Mandira Kapoor, the sister of Sanjay Kapoor. She spoke to my colleague Shavan Sen this evening.
The inheritance battle has only intensified. Charges and counter charges. The matter has now reached the court. Many say that where lies the truth on this very issue? I'm joined by Sanjay Kapoor's sister, Mandira Kapoor. Mandira, thank you very much for once again speaking to Republic TV. I want to start by asking you the latest plea that has been filed by your mother. What has surprised many is the fact that your mother makes a mention of the alleged role of Sanjay Kapoor. The very fact that in the plea there is a mention of the fact that in a dishonest manner, there was a collusion between Priya Kapoor and Sanjay Kapoor, taking away what essentially belonged to your mother. Why suddenly make a mention of Sanjay Kapoor if at all you all believe that this was perhaps a conspiracy hatched by Priya?
We have to talk about the reality of what has happened, and it's unfortunate that this is stuff we are finding out now, and it's something we have to call out, because this the entire estate of my father's was left to my mother, and it was to be divided after my mother's sole beneficiary. It was to be divided between all the three siblings and the what was 6 grandchildren now are 7. So a lot is coming to light right now, and it's unfortunate that my brother was a part of this conspiracy, but we need to get to the bottom of how, when, why, what, all of that, which we are in the process of doing.
By reading this particular plea, I get a sense, Mandira, that somewhere down the line, you all believe that Priya Sajdev Kapoor was perhaps putting some pressure on your brother. Is that the indication that you all are giving, that perhaps he was forced to basically sign the will, or more importantly, hand over the entire assets to a particular trust that you all say does not even exist?
So as far as the will goes, that's in court, and we're waiting for the judgment on that. So I'm not going to comment on that. As far as the trust goes, we are trying to get to the bottom of what has happened. My brother was not the kind of person to have. I don't think was the kind of person to have done this. So, we all have feelings. We have to come out with what the truth was of it. And that will happen in court, in the proper judicial system, with the law, and we will speak the truth as we always have, and we will come to the bottom and the conclusion of what has happened.
I also want to put the spotlight on what Karishma Kapoor's children, Sanjay Kapoor's children, have to essentially say about this entire inheritance battle. The very fact that they had absolutely no idea about even the worth of this entire estate that you're essentially talking about. The inheritance battle, 30,000 crore is what it is being pegged. But the children say that we do not have any idea about it. I want to ask you, is Mandira Kapoor, Rani Kapoor, fully backing the claims that have now been made by Sanjay Kapoor's children?
The thing is, none of us were aware, because this family's been very, our father raised us very differently. We want to make sure the grandchildren get what dad wanted them to get, which is, a part of what should be equally divided between the grandkids. And there is a lot more for even, my brother's kids to get than what they've gotten right now. It is, they've not gotten what they should get, and none of us have. I mean, considering my mother's alive and she's not got anything, that is not my father's intention ever. My father was very clear about my mother being the sole beneficiary and the grandkids being looked after. And right now, none of the grandkids have anything. And even my brother's kids have nothing. Well, those two don't, for sure. So, we're in this together, and we have to make sure the grandkids are secure. Dad was only about the grandkids. The kids, it was mom first, the grandkids, and then the three of us. So we need to make sure our children are all secure, and my brother's kids do need to be secure. Because my brother's not here now, and my mom's the head of the family, and she needs to make sure they are looked after as well.
I also want to ask you this because, Mandira, you are with your mother right now in London. What's her condition, given the fact that it seems from this particular plea that you're also fighting a battle for Sanjay Kapoor's children, Karishma Kapoor's children? What is it that Rani Kapoor has to say on this entire issue, particularly about the fact that the children have essentially been left out?
She is, and she's she's very strong right now. She's very clear on what she wants. She's very clear on the fact that she has to get everything that she and dad built back, and she's very clear that she has to look after the grandchildren, like I said, and she's she's got that on her head now. She's got the pressure of that. So we want to make sure she does what she has to do while she's alive, and she's 80 years old, so we want to make sure she's happy and she lives a happy life, whatever she has. What has happened with her is extremely unfair. She's lost her husband, she's lost her son, she's lost the legacy which they've built together. So we want to make sure she has that peace.
Mandira, I believe it is but necessary that people really ought to know about where does Karishma Kapoor really stand on this entire issue. Of course, she does not have much of a say as far as the inheritance battle is concerned. It will be more of her children. But I believe that you have also been in touch with Karishma Kapoor. What is it that she has to say on this entire matter?
Like any mother, she wants to make sure kids are secure. Right. They've had a big loss in their life. She's a brilliant support system for her children. And she wants to make sure her kids are secure and they've anyway had such a big loss. And
Has
I
Priya,
think the future...
has Priya basically cut her off? Has Priya cut off Karishma Kapoor, or were there attempts that Karishma Kapoor was trying to make with Priya Sajde Kapoor so that this situation could have been amicably solved?
I'm not sure about that. I have no idea about that. That's not something we talk about. But all I can say is I know that that Lolo Karishma does have her kids first, their interest first, and their interest only. And we have to, like I said, we have to make sure that those kids are really secure. They've had a very big loss, and our heart goes out to them, and we want to make sure they're secure.
Right. I want to ask you one final question with regards to some of the charges that have been leveled against you, your mother, and I believe a few others who have also been mentioned in a criminal defamation case that has been registered. Now here, what's important to point out from the complaint that has been filed is that they say that it's a malicious campaign that has been started, not directly by you perhaps, but by proxies of Mandira Kapoor as well as Karishma Kapoor. These are some charges that have been leveled against you. Matter is going to come up in the court too. I want your response on this, because these are some very serious charges that Priya is making right now.
I don't know who the proxies are, because I've been quite vocal with everyone and everything I've stated is either in court or the truth, and you can question me about anything, my story will stick the same. I've not maligned or been malicious or anything. If the truth is what it is, there's nothing I can do about it.
And what is
I'm
the
not
truth?
here to lie.
What is Mandira's truth here?
The truth is that no one can walk away with our legacy, and we will get it back. That is the truth. Now, whatever's gone on will all... And I keep saying the truth will come out. The fact that you can throw and say criminal defamation and all this, it's fine, but let's make sense of it. What is the defamation here? What bit is the defamation? She may not like what is being said, but then I can't help it if it's the truth, and I can't help it if it's been called out in court. I mean, I'm not saying anything that, which is defaming. I'm literally telling the truth. So it is what it is. What do you do?
One final question before I let you go, Mandira, because I'm going back to the plea, because in the plea, when you make an assertion about Sanjay Kapoor getting in collusion with his wife, you are somewhere down the line insinuating against your own brother. Rani Kapoor is insinuating against her own son. Does that not really work against the very basis of this entire claim?
Listen, we are here simply to get my father's estate back to my mother, who has been cut out. We have to come to the bottom of how it happened. Unfortunately, my brother was involved in it. How he was involved, why he got involved, that is all what we want to understand. He is not here for us to ask him today. It's not in his character what he has done, especially to his mother. So that is what we are also wondering about. We also want answers to this. We are lost. We're in a space that we don't understand most of it. We're lost about why and how this has happened. And we want the truth as well. And it's very unfortunate and sad that we have to point a finger on my brother who is not here. But we want to understand how and why it happened. There has to be a reason, because this is not in his character to have done. And again, I'm going to say not to his mother, not to his own children. I mean, it's just all, nothing that has happened with this entire thing makes sense to this family. And that's what is just, we need peace, we need understanding, we need closure on this.
Well, thank you very much, Mandira, for sparing the time and speaking to us and putting this into perspective. We'll be watching the proceedings very closely. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for watching the show tonight. Trending is coming up next. The debate with Arnab at 8 p.m. 3 big debates, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned.